Before we get on with the video, hit subscribe and press the bell icon next to it to get instant notifications of our latest uploads.
A huge tiger has escaped from a circus and is roaming about in a city. In this autobiographical piece, the tiger observes the people who run helter-skelter when they see him. He gets sick of them. Why does he not have a good opinion of human beings? It was still a busy hour in the city when I entered Market Road. People ran for their lives at the sight of me. As I passed through, shutters were pulled down and people hid themselves under culverts, on trees, and behind pillars. The population was melting out of sight. At the circus, I had had no chance to study human beings. They had sat in their seats peacefully while I cowered before Captain's whip. I got a totally wrong idea of human beings at that angle. I had thought that they were strong and fearless. But now I found them running from me like a herd of deer, although I had no intention of attacking them. When I paused in front of a tailor's shop, he abandoned his machine and shut himself up in a cupboard, wailing, "Alas, I am undone! Won't someone shoot that tiger?" A prisoner between two constables got his chance to escape when the constables fled, abandoning him with his handcuffs. I tore a horse from its jutka and enjoyed the sight of passengers spilling out of it and running for their lives. Sheer hopelessness seemed to have seized the townspeople. They withdrew to their homes and even there remained nervous. All doors and windows everywhere were shut, bolted, and sealed. Some even thought that I was some extraordinary creature who might pass through the walls and lie in wait on the roof or in the loft or basement. Poor people living in huts had real cause to worry. I could have taken any of their homes apart. But why should I? One could understand their fears. But why should those living in brick and cement houses feel nervous? It was due to their general lack of a sense of security and an irrational fear of losing their belongings. Why should an ordinary, simple tiger have any interest in them, either to destroy or to safeguard? I rested for a moment at the door of Anand Bhavan on Market Road, where coffee drinkers and tiffin eaters sat still at their tables, uttering low moans on seeing me. I wanted to assure them, "Don't mind me, you, nearest to me, hugging the cash box. You are a coward, afraid even to breathe. Go on, count the cash. If that's your pleasure, I just want to watch. That's all. If my tail trails down to the street, if I am blocking your threshold, it is because, I'm told, I'm 11 feet tip to tail. I can't help it. I'm not out to kill. I'm too full. I found a green pasture full of food on my way. I won't attack until I feel hungry again. Tigers attack only when they feel hungry, unlike human beings who slaughter one another without purpose or hunger. To the great delight of children, schools were being hurriedly closed. Children of all ages and sizes were running helter-skelter, screaming joyously, "No school! No school! Tiger! Tiger!" They were shouting and laughing, and even enjoying being scared. They seemed to welcome me. I felt like joining them, so I bounded away from the restaurant door. I walked along with them, at which they cried, "The tiger is coming to eat us! Let us get back to school!" I followed them through their school gate, while they ran up and shut themselves in the school hall securely. I climbed up the steps of the school, saw an open door at the far end of a veranda, and walked in. It happened to be the headmaster's room. I noticed a very dignified man jumping on his table and heaving himself up into an attic. I walked in and flung myself on the cool floor, having a special liking for cool stone floors. As I drowsed, I was aware of cautious steps and hushed voices all around. I was in no mood to bother about anything. All I wanted was a little moment of sleep. The daylight was very bright. In half sleep, I heard the doors of the room being shut and bolted and locked. I didn't care. I slept. While I slept, a great deal of discussion was going on. I learnt about it later through my master, who was in the crowd which had gathered after making sure that I had been properly locked up. The headmaster seems to have remarked some days later, "Never dreamt in my wildest dreams that I would have to yield my place to a tiger." Some clever person had retorted, "Might be one way of maintaining better discipline among the boys. Now that this brute is safely locked up, we must decide," began a teacher. At this moment, my master pushed his way through the crowds and scolded, "Never use the words beast or brute. They are ugly words, coined by man in his arrogance. The human being thinks all other creatures are beasts." "Is this the time to discuss problems of vocabulary?" asked someone. "Why not?" reported my master, at which they looked extremely upset and angry. Someone said, "What a reckless man you are! Who are you?" "You are asking a profound question. I have no idea who I am. All my life, I have been trying to find the answer. Are you sure you know who you are?" "Crazy fellow, with a tiger in there ready to eat us up, but for the strong door? This is no time for useless talk. Let us get on with business." "What business? What is it going to be?" asked my master. Everyone was upset at this question. "We must think of those poor children shut in the hall," said a teacher. "Open the door and let them out," said my master, unasked. "It is not your business to advise us. Who are you?" "Second time you are asking the same question. I say again, I do not know," said my master. "Get out of the school premises," said a man who acted for the headmaster in his absence. "You have no business here. We can't have all kinds of intruders." "Did the tiger come on your invitation?" asked my master. Meanwhile, I awoke after a very good sleep and heard voices outside. I looked up and saw the headmaster cowering in the attic. I stretched myself and roared, for no particular reason, except that I felt alive. The poor human being in the loft must have trembled at that moment. I wished to assure him that I was not going to hurt him. I raised myself, put up my forelegs on the wall, scratched it, and growled softly, which made him more nervous. I knew my master was outside. I could hear him say, "No one is going to shoot. You will see the tiger come out and walk off with me. One of you take a ladder in and help the headmaster come down from the attic." "Do you mean to say you are going in, as you are, without arms or protection?" they asked him. "Yes, that's what I'm going to do. We have no time to waste," the chairman of the Tiger Committee said. "By the powers I have, being the second honorary magistrate, I give you notice that you shall not open nor enter that room. My committee members will bear witness to this order. It comes into immediate force, in spite of the fact that it's not yet in written form." He looked around at his committee members, who crowded near the window bars, and they agreed. my master asked. Why do you prevent me from going near the tiger? They were at a loss for an answer. It is unlawful to commit suicide, they said. Maybe, said my master. But which law section says that a man should not approach a tiger? Are not circus people doing it all the time? Yes, replied the chairman weakly, but that's different. I can tame a tiger as well as any circus ringmaster. It's after all my life that I'm risking. There is no such thing as my life or your life in the eyes of the law. All lives are equal. No one can allow you to murder yourself. Life or death is not in anybody's hands. You can't die by wanting to, or escape death by determination. A great power has decided the number of breaths for each individual. We can neither stop nor prolong life. The chairman was visibly confused and bewildered. In that case, you will have to sign an affidavit absolving us from all responsibility for your life or death. You ignoramus of an honorary magistrate! After all that I have said, in spite of all that urgency? All right, give me a piece of paper and tell me what to write. The magistrate took out a sheet of paper from his briefcase and gave it to my master. My master wrote to the chairman's dictation, absolving everyone there from all responsibility. He signed the document. The chairman looked at the document and said, Stop! Wait! What have you written here? Only what you have dictated. In a language we don't know. I can't accept it. It's in Sanskrit, in which our scriptures are written. I write only in Sanskrit, although I know 10 other languages, including Japanese. Without further ado, he put the key into the lock on the headmaster's room. I had felt provoked at the sound of the key turning in the lock. No one had a right to come in and bother me. I was enjoying my freedom. So far, I had shown great self-control. Thus far, and no further. The evidence of my good intentions should be the headmaster, who I knew was somewhere above me, unharmed and, as I hoped, peacefully sleeping. He made no sound or movement, so I guessed he must be sound asleep. I did not want to be disturbed, nor was I going to let anyone bother the headmaster. So I had a double responsibility now. Someone was at the door. I held myself ready to spring forward. The door opened quietly, and my master entered, shutting the door behind him. I felt restless and wanted to do something, or at least get away from the whole situation, back to my familiar life, back to the jungle, to the bed of long grass. I sighed for the feel of the grass on my belly, for the stream beside the cave, and the shade of the cave with its rugged, sandy floor. I was sick of human beings. They were everywhere. Every inch of the earth seemed to be swarming with humanity. Ever since the unfortunate day I stepped into the village to the present moment, I was being hemmed in. How grand it would be to go back to the world of bamboo shade and monkeys and jackals.
इस चैनल को लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और सबको इसके बारे में बताइए।